1, 2, 3. Tag Me In Podcast.
Tag Me In Podcast, back again with another episode. You're joined by myself, Ola.
And also Anton.
Before we record, can I just quickly do a little swipe, a little like?
Like what? On what?
A little tap.
Are you on Tinder?
Look, listen, no.
Is this a confession?
No.
Trying to trip you up right now. It's feeling the heat.
Take two.
Have you got something to say? Have you got like a little addiction going on?
I'm not addicted. I just, you know, them ones where you just want to be like on Instagram for like 5 hours in the morning.
Is that how you do it?
You don't? Okay.
So what time do you wake up before you go to work to be on Instagram for 5 hours?
3
3.
So why don't you do it?
No.
What?
No. So you got a little addiction with technology right now. Is this your confession?
You know what? It's not a personal confession, but it's confessions that I've heard, I've seen.
You witnessed.
Yeah, and I think it's starting to get a bit out of hand. Like, there's been obviously conversations, especially with us millennials, about us not wanting to work hard for things. We just want things, and I think a lot of that has been fueled in part and mostly by technology.
Really?
In conjunction with this whole sort of instant gratification of sort of social media platforms and whatever else.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you're just on Instagram or Twitter, you're just like, let me just scroll for 5-10 minutes, and then that just turns to an hour of hella screenshotting, bookmarking, just going down.
Not even bookmarking, just going through a rabbit hole, just clicking on one photo, checking out someone's profile, and then going off to something else, and then it's a madness.
It is great. Like, for me, I'm more guilty of it in terms of YouTube. Like, I'm like, let me just watch 1 or 2 educational.
YouTube gets you.
No, YouTube gets me, because the thing is, my sort of thing is I'm going to be educational, and it always starts off that way. I watch 1 or 2 clips. I'm like, that was.
What's the last thing that you searched on YouTube?
It doesn't even matter.
I want to know what's educational. This is a platform about, you know, growing and developing. So
you know those videos that are just like, you can do it, believe in yourself.
Yeah, motivational.
Probably, Patrick St. David.
Yeah.
He's got this channel called Valuetainment. He was kind of speaking about dominating 2019. What are your triggers? Making sure you keep your friends and family close. The next 10, 20 years, you want to have those people around you. Having plans. Just that kind of like cheesy, but sometimes it's nice to hear.
So you got to that video, you watched it.
The video was fire, but then, you know, on the side, just in a little corner there, suggested
R. Kelly.
You might like, yo!
AJ, nothing. Anyway.
It wasn't none of that. It was just like these random, what was it? I honestly can't remember.
How to flip. How to turn £1 into £20,000.
How to turn
in 2 days.
A house from toothpaste in an hour.
Swear.
You know them ones there.
So what happened? How long was you on YouTube for?
It literally went from, let me just watch this for 10 minutes to probably about 45 minutes, which isn't the worst, to be fair, but still. You
knew you had stuff to do, innit?
There was a plan in place. Yeah, there was a plan in place, structured plan, and that kind of went out the window. For me, I wouldn't say it's an addiction. I think it's just, with this sort of thing, attention spans have greatly reduced in the last decades.
So, like, what's interesting, there was like a survey that was done, or a questionnaire, one of the two. Apparently, on average, in fact, I'm going to ask you this question. How often do you reckon you pick up your phone?
I know I'm not so bad anymore.
On a day, in 24 hours or whatever, in one day, how often do you reckon you are picking up that phone?
I'd honestly say less than 10.
Apparently,
what's the average?
40.
40?
40 times a day you are going. Boop,
average?
Boop,
That's
boop.
mad. But, you know, isn't there like, on iPhones, isn't there like this app that tells you how often...
What app you been on? Yeah.
And I've just spoken to people who've just said, I hadn't realised how bad I was with my phone. They're like, this phone's telling me I've been on this thing for hours. I'm just like...
Pretty much.
You don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And the maddest thing is because phones are...
Apparently like 4 hours a day on your phone.
That's mad. And I think a large part of it is because phones have become an everyday part of our lives. Because back in the day, a phone was a phone. You had a phone to call people. Guess what the least used app on the phone is?
Calling people.
Thank you. Literally the phone itself. Because phones include what? Social media. So basically a desktop. Apps, maps. So that little...
It's everything in your hand almost, isn't it?
There, your debit
eBay,
card,
stocks. Yeah.
Everything is on your phone. So now you're kind of, in a sense, obligated to be on
You need it, right?
day to day. And then from that, people have just become addicted to, I don't want to blame it all on social media, but social media has played a massive role.
But it's the role of notifications as well. Like, it triggers you. It literally, like, your phone will vibrate. You'll be like, oh, what's that? You got an itch, you know.
And there have been studies that have kind of shown the way they've kind of made the sounds is so that it becomes addictive. I don't know if you've ever done this.
You see how I just done that sound now? Yeah. People are going to be listening going, oh shit, my phone's going off. Is that my phone?
He's going to get a bad angle. But you know what, like, I don't know if you've been guilty of this, and I've witnessed this. Like, people will wake up in the morning, the first thing they do isn't prayer. It isn't meditation. It isn't exercise or stretching.
Even the simple thing of gratification, just being like, oh, it's a beautiful morning. Just like, bing.
Who's messaging me?
Yeah.
What's going on?
That's how you start your day. Straight from that.
Have you been guilty of that? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I've got a couple of like veins tracks or like whatever drug tracks on my arm. I was like, I got the USB cable. I got the Apple cable connected to the arm as well. Like, it's just mad that it's just, there's an element of fear of missing out sometimes as well. Yeah, FOMO. So you wake up in the morning, you're like, what have I missed out on? What's really good? And you see the notifications and you see like enough messages on WhatsApp. You got the WhatsApp group just buzzing and you wake up and there's like 120 messages. You're like, oh, what did I miss? That's your morning done. You're like, I should get in the shower now. Still swiping up. Man, let me quickly check Instagram. Someone left me a message. Cool. Someone sent me this post. And that's just a vicious cycle to go down. But you mentioned it. So phones are built in a way where they should be addictive. So when you look at social media or you look at YouTube, they are built to like retain users. So they are literally thinking about the psychology of human beings. How can I make sure that Ola clicks on the next video? And that's when cookies and all these other stuff like recommended plays and all this sort of stuff that come up in your highlights, it's there to capture you and it's there to get your attention. So like, and it's interesting that, you know, you mentioned iPhones, they got this screen time thing now. I set that for myself. So from 9:30 at night, it's off. Yeah. No apps. I can't even get into like the calculator. I'm like, what's 2 times 2? I can't 2 times 2. Come on. And the only way I can get access to my apps is if I put in a PIN code. But I have to go through that process of, do I really need to have my phone right now? Yeah. And then it doesn't kick in till about, I think, 7 o'clock. In the morning, and then I can access and see what's going on in the world. And that's been a lifesaver. Like, I tried doing it myself. I was like mentally going, okay, when I wake up, the first thing I'm going to do is not touch my phone. I'm probably going to stretch, or I might have a little bit of meditation, or I might have a little workout. And like, now that the iPhone's got that kind of inbuilt into it now, it's like a barrier. It's like a firewall. It's like, it's not going to happen.
It really helps. But you know what? Now I realized it was quite bad. I think I was fortunate enough in that let's say about 2 years ago, I think my phone broke, or I was getting an upgrade, whatever. But what the situation meant was that for about a week, I was out of action in terms of a phone. Yeah. And I think that was when I realized how bad it was. Because I was just like...
Was you itching?
No, I was
shaking.
I was just like...
Oh, man, where's my phone at?
Man, I just did some data.
Oh, no, that's right.
I just kind of felt like, something's missing. This is weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it my phone? I'm like, but this isn't right. I wasn't bought. The phone is not a part of me. It is a tool for a purpose.
So are you saying?
So I'm just thought, why is there this love and addiction? But when you have it, you don't realize. And then at that point, when I did get the new phone, I did make a vow to myself to never be. No, true story. I was like,
I rate you for that.
It sounds basic. I'm just like, no.
I vowed to never touch this phone between the hours of 7.
I want to limit and control this. This phone doesn't control me. I don't know if you've ever been on Central Line or train or bus or whatever. In the morning or at night, literally all you see, people are like this. And I've been out to dinner with family and friends. We haven't seen each other for months. Someone's had a baby. Someone's been in hospital. How are you guys? But let me just quickly retweet. It is mad.
Do you not see the benefit in technology as well, though?
It obviously has its good sides. I'm not going to kind of dispute that at all. I think with most things in life, there are pros, there are cons. With this aspect, I'm a bit worried about the downsides a bit more. It seems a lot more ingrained and the dangers are a lot more visible and long term. And because it's affecting really young kids as well, I'm a bit like... Ooh.
Cool. You're going to have to explain that, because there was research that was... I think it came out last week. Yeah. Apparently there's no impact in the fact that if kids grow up with technology, it doesn't really impact them.
but they haven't grown up yet, so they don't know that. They're just, I feel like
They done like some case study and they're like, oh yeah, kids who grew up with technology, there's no major impact on their lifestyle.
the thing is, I bet if we check to commission, that's probably Apple and Android. And
Sponsored by Apple, Microsoft, and all them man there.
them ones there. And
Yeah.
I think there was a study I saw, and it sort of went through how social media, which platforms affect us, and it had this graph, and towards the kind of bottom corner, which was like the red danger zone, it was like Instagram and closely followed by Facebook are probably the two biggest.
What about Twitter? Because Twitter
In terms
is
of, no, that will make you feel more like, basically people were saying when they get on social media,
what,
when they
anxiety
come off,
sort of.
they feel anxious,
Yeah.
or depressed.
Mm.
And it was because of mainly those two apps. Twitter
Yeah.
was more fear of missing out. What's everyone talking about? I've missed. Twitter and Facebook and Instagram was more because it's more visual. People are showing you things that they've got. People feeling a lot more left out. And I'm just like, how has it got to this level? Yeah, social media is amazing. We've both, felt the benefits of social media in terms of our podcast, our platform, meeting friends, making connections.
Yeah.
100%. Some of the best events I've been to, hands down, purely from social media. Some of the best WhatsApp groups I'm in, some of the most amazing people I've met have been from social media. Absolutely amazing.
What, some random person on social media, you just you don't know them, you just,
honestly, hands down,
hey, I like your
best
profile.
platform.
Slide through the DMs.
Like I've honestly met some amazing people.
You see how Ola just skipped that part though?
No, so,
It's cool. Go on, now, stay on trail. Stay on trail.
so I'm just like, when you think about the negative aspects, I'm just like, yo.
There's one negative aspect that I believe in, which is the impact it has on your sleep pattern.
Yeah.
So they speak about blue light that comes from your phone. So the light that kind of confuses your brain, because naturally when it gets dark, your body releases melatonin, which is supposed to be like a signal that goes, hey, it's time to go to sleep, and like time to nap. But unfortunately, when we've got our phones on all the time and all these computer screens and everything like that, our brain doesn't produce that signal. So that's why people tend to struggle to fall asleep or don't fall asleep or not have the best night's sleep, because naturally you're not allowing your body to get into that regular state. And apparently 60% of people go to bed with their phone. And that's crazy. If you know that's going to grow, that's going to continue to grow. But the impact that we notice, we done an episode on sleep. If you don't have good, proper sleep where you feel rest, you wake up, you're like, that was a sick night of sleep. There's so much impacts that happen without having like a good night's sleep. So like there's an impact on your immune system. You're not fully recovering. You could be prone to heart disease. There's stuff to do related to just your brain and just your hormone imbalance. So depression, anxiety, and all this sort of stuff that kind of like lined up with chemical imbalance. And it's just like, you have to try and find that balance. Yeah. And I think we've mentioned it over a couple of podcasts before, but you have to almost discipline yourself. You have to say, okay, no phone at this time. And literally just put your phone away and be like, sorry, world, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow.
And it's crazy how it's got into that level.
But I think
I have to train myself to stay away from my phone.
Because it's addictive. Like,
Is this the world we're living
no,
in?
but but you can, yeah.
Honestly, think about it. I have to train myself.
Yeah,
What?
but
Is it crack?
No, so
Apparently it is crack.
no, it is crack.
Well,
It is
apparently
crack.
it's crack cocaine.
No, because the same way that your body reacts to it is the same way it's similar to the drug. So the release of dopamine, which is like the happy, yeah, cool. No, sorry, serotonin. It's like, yeah, great. That's the sort of rush that we get, and it's like a reward system that happens. So every time you pick up the phone, they talk about, I think you spoke about it before, cues and habits and how you build up a routine. So let's take the ping. A ping's like, oh, message. That's the cue. You're like, cool. So then what do? You pick up your phone. That's the action. What are you expecting after that? That's the reward. You're like, oh, snap. My boy just sent me a funny picture. Oh, man, this is funny. Ha, 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 ha. So you're on a buzz, but that doesn't last forever. And then what naturally happens is you're constantly trying to find that same high again. But as time goes along, your happiness, or not your happiness, but that rush that you get is a lot harder to achieve. So it's the same with addiction. It could be a sexual addiction. You could be like mad out here, just banging enough times, but you're never going to feel complete because you're always trying to achieve that first bust, that first nut that was that magical. Or it could be that first time you took, or it could be like taking crack or something like that. It's very similar. And that's what technology is now, because especially like Instagram, the way they've marketed it, and the way that they always change the UI. Yeah. which makes you go, oh, this is new. Oh, new update. Oh, snap. Oh, this is awesome. New feature. It's just them trying to make sure they got you hooked.
From a business perspective, hat off to them. But then from a consumer perspective,
hat off to them too.
But I don't think people realize what it's really doing to them. Like, I really don't think, like, okay, where do you kind of see it going in the next couple of years with the way they've kind of got us gripped, got people gripped as consumers?
It's not changing. It's definitely not changing.
But where's it going? Do you think it's going to get worse? Do you think it will just maintain?
So I think, when was it? It was last week, Friday. I think I was telling my boy this actually. I went to a petrol station and there was this little kid, he was like 11 years old. He got Krispy Kreme donuts. I was like, my guy, yeah, original glaze, bring me in. He was like, nah. He was like, nah. But the first thing he did, since like he paid for the thing, he got the receipt, he turned around and his phone was out and he was on Snapchat snapping the box. And I was just like, this is literally what's going to happen. I said to my boy, I was like, the future's going to be literally, I think Snap came out with the glasses. It's literally going to be like a lens that you have in your eye and you go, record now. And your whole life will be documented. And that will be technology. Technology will almost be part of us, where it's part of us now, but it'll be truly integrated. And that's where we're going. And it's just going to be part of a life. So I always kind of like to compare it between like evolving or being extinct. So you could be the sort of person like, nah, that's not going to be me. But over time, if you don't keep up with it, eventually you're going to be left in the dark. And you're going to be like, what's this?
No, 100%.
What's this thing?
100%. But I think there's still limits. I think my concern is more so some people not realizing the extent.
They're in the world.
You know, some people are
World of Warcraft, there's banging games all day.
Yeah,
don't go outside.
You know when someone's so addicted, they don't even know.
That's the type I'm talking about. Yeah.
Like you said, World of Warcraft, these men will play 18. I think there was even a documented case of some guy dying. You know, they don't get up from their seats.
Oh, Tony's not online today. Is he alright?
It's mad. My thing is, I'm happy that a lot of people are just conscious that actually I spend a lot of time on social media. I spend a lot of time with technology. In general, it would be healthy for me to step outside. I think my worry and concern is more the ones who are genuinely going to bed late, waking up early for Insta, for Twitter, for whatever it is, and not realizing what they're doing, not realizing
the cycle
the impact it's having on their job, on their day-to-day living. Something basic. Let's go out. How are you?
Yeah, you can see it from like younger kids. Like I look at my cousin.
It's not even just younger kids, honestly.
No, but I'm saying the younger kids have got it worse because they were born into it.
Oh man.
Whereas we experienced life without it. Kind of.
It was sort of late teenage years, wasn't it? Blackberry.
Yeah. For them, like all 11, 10 years old, and they're like watching a film but on their phone at the same time, snapping in Instagram. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if they're evolving in the sense of they can multitask, and there's no such thing as multitasking. But I think they can. Yeah, their attention is short.
You know what? That annoys me because I'll go to my little cousin's house. He's 11. He'll literally be there, and my young brother does this as well. YouTube's on. They're watching someone play a game. Xbox is on, playing. The phone is on, music, and he's got the laptop, and I'm like, well,
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
He's like, huh? Now I'm playing, but I'm watching the thing. And I'm like, you're literally taking the piss.
He's doing everything.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Brother.
All right. So, like, what do you reckon people can do? So, for you feel like technology is playing a big impact in people's lives, good and bad.
Yeah.
There is a lot of bad because a lot of people are getting wrapped up in it and they don't understand that they're actually in that cycle.
The lack of awareness, yeah.
So how does someone become aware? And then how does someone kind of limit themselves or wean themselves up? Do they go to rehab?
I think,
No, you laugh. There was actually a rehab built in America for people who had addiction to World of Warcraft. Like these men were banging out 23 hours a day, sleeping for half an hour and brushing their teeth and having a shower for half an hour.
No, I believe you.
Yeah.
One of my boys in uni, he went
rehab.
No, he just took it too far. I'd go to his house on Monday. I would have one KFC box. I'd come back on I swear down, this is a true story. More than one time. 5 KFC boxes.
Yeah.
All £5. Wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
Room smelling like sick. I'm like, and I know you ain't buff. He'd be like, huh? Hey, no, I don't want to play. No, I don't do multiplayer.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is real.
That's him trying to bond with you, though.
It's mad. But in terms of that, I think in terms of awareness, again, a simple app, like we sort of mentioned, an app that shows you your online screen time. If you at least know how long you're spending on there, that's how the awareness starts. You maybe sort of manage that. there are apps, again, like you said, that kind of limit your time on it. So I know there's apps that once you spend more than 40 minutes, you can obviously adjust it yourself. You spend a certain amount of time on that app, either a day or a week. It just cuts it off. No more until tomorrow, no more until next week.
Yeah.
Management. There's the sort of color app as well. So this is an app that when you sort of mention in relation to serotonin, melatonin, whatever, that when it's nighttime, it switches to like a dark purple hue.
Oh yeah, the night shift mode.
Yeah, so it just kind of adjusts you, so you still feel like sleeping. You haven't really sort of lost out in that sense. Then in terms of, I guess, just cutting down, ultimately, obviously, it is subjective. If you're making £100,000 or whatever, you're kind of building your brand on social media, that is what's working for you. That's your 9 to 5. That's kind of how you make your bread and butter.
It's not a 9 to 5 though, is it?
I don't really say to you, don't go on it. That's what you're doing, 100%. I think for me, it's more so just the lack of awareness of the danger. So people who are complaining about not getting sleep, not having time to do things, is because the time's been taken away by this. It's mainly for sort of those people.
So what? Track your time, just
track
where
your time,
you're spending time.
Awareness of its value. Like again, some people need social media for their businesses or their platforms that they're trying to build. You're gonna need it. That's kind of where your time's being spent. If you don't need it, if it's just a little entertainment, enjoyment time, there needs to be a limit. In the same way you'd limit going to the cinema, listening to music, whatever form of entertainment.
Do you feel like we live in a generation where you can't be bored?
I think yes and no. No, because we have access to everything instantly. And then yes, because again, we have access to everything instantly.
Huh?
Sort of back in the day, if you wanted to be entertained, if you wanted to watch EastEnders or go cinema, whatever it was, you had to wait. That was a large part of life. Cinema, you got to wait for the movie to drop. EastEnders, you had to wait for next week Monday. Peggy fell down the stairs. You got to wait. You got to wait for that. Whereas now, if you want it now, you can have it now.
Yeah.
You log online
on demand.
Instant,
yeah, it's there.
Recorded.
Yeah.
Movie. Let's kind of get that online.
Yeah.
It's just there. So I think it's a double-edged sword in that things are a lot more efficient and tailored to people, but then that's also the danger of it. If you have a naturally addictive personality, which is a thing, and you have instant access to something that you like, it then becomes, like you said, if you always have access to it, you lose that kind of lust and love for it. It's just there. It loses its value. You haven't had to wait. You haven't had to have that struggle. It's
there. Yeah. So I want to bring it on to like notifications, because I feel like notification is a big distraction. So let's take, for example, email. Apparently, if an email comes into your mailbox, someone's going to look at it, not necessarily respond to it, but within 5 seconds of that hitting your mailbox and popping up, it's being open. Like, especially in the workplace. But what that has an impact on is your actual workflow. So you might have been concentrating for time on this project and you're like, yeah, cool, got it, ding, and you're distracted. And then you're looking at the email, and then it takes a bit of time to go back into that work. Apparently it takes 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I can witness that. I've been there. But I've got myself to a place where literally on my phone, my notifications won't vibrate. So I'm not getting distracted. Yeah, mute. Like, I had to get myself to this place.
No wonder man doesn't reply. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Like, on a real, like, everyone knows this about me. Like, I will take a bit of time to reply, but that's simply because I'm not going to be distracted when I'm in my zone, when I'm trying to do stuff, innit? But what do you think the impact is, like, now that we're just more of a ding, 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 like that kind of, do you think it has an impact on gratification? Do you reckon we're just not focusing on, you know, a sole project at one time? We're multitasking, we're taking ourselves off course.
Yeah, I think just like you said, it's a distraction, massive distraction. The same way it kind of disturbs workflow in terms of work. I think it's the exact same. You're on a task, you get a call, you get a text, whatever it is, it just takes you off, because then you're thinking, what is that? Who could that? Is it something serious? And I think like you have kind of started to, for a certain period during the day, silent.
Yeah.
Give me a couple of hours, let me do what I need to do, then I'm going to sort of respond. Because I sort of read this article that spoke about, again, first thing to do in the morning shouldn't be to be at the beck and call of everyone else. Do something for yourself, whether it's education, put something positive into your mind, or do some exercise, something positive for your body. Because what you're doing there is you're being proactive, not reactive. By you looking at the news or answering to notifications, emails, you're being reactive to what the world has for you, as opposed to that proactive stance. And that kind of follows in the same principle of essentially just putting yourself first. What do you want? What's the task at hand? Has it been completed? Do that, do it first, and then you can respond. People can wait 20, 30, 40 minutes, depending on how long it is. It is subjective.
People can't, you know. Some people get on your case, be like,
Some people are like, you just didn't respond in 10 seconds. Is everything okay? Yeah.
Oh, is everything okay with us? Like, I saw your message, but I can't respond right now.
Two blue ticks. What's going on? And I think it's just, again, that's one of the worries, and that's something I've seen myself. People who, if you haven't responded in a few minutes, it's a problem. You know, they can do what they want to do.
It's on.
Yeah, but you have to be up there.
No.
It has its. I mean, again, you know, we spoke about the benefits. The benefits are there. I think, like with most things in life, it's just about finding that balance.
All right.
What works well.
So you're not going rehab?
No one's going rehab.
No.
Soon. Definitely not me. I'm not even close. Again, for me, morning, I don't think I touch my phone until I'm on my way to work, and even then, it's mainly for music. Then when I'm at work, first couple hours, no, it's not happening.
I'm trying to do the Pomodoro technique. So I'm trying to work on a task for like 30 minutes and then taking a 15-minute break. In that 15-minute break, that's when I will respond to people.
Precisely.
So just chunking up my day.
It really helps. It really helps. And there's even this sort of extension on Chrome that I found that in that channel, basically that grows a tree. So that 25 minutes.
I've seen this one. Yeah. I saw this recently. Does it grow a tree or a whole like garden, like a whole forest?
I think the one I found grows a tree in that period.
Okay.
It's probably like different.
We'll put links to this.
Yeah. So I think something as simple as that would help. Even if it was on the phone, some people might find it distracting, but others, you're still getting access to your phone, just not in the way you want. So then your reward is once that tree is built, then you can touch it.
Yeah.
I think that kind of builds.
You got to play into that reward cycle.
Yeah, that's the thing. It builds against that instant gratification, because I think that really afflicts people. Because people will post a picture, and because they're so accustomed to getting a like,
just swiping up, waiting for that refresh.
Because look at how it's affected our shopping, retail, Amazon, same day delivery. What happened to wait?
Don't try not that. No, I'm not going to have that. I'm not having that.
I'm not knocking it, but I'm saying it's the same principle.
Yeah, but that's what I mean about evolving. Like we are evolving as a species, as a race. So like, you know, you can't say.
Okay, but where does it end? Because people are going to start wanting things. They're going to.
If they can provide that, no. But if they can provide that, then yeah.
But then that's what I'm saying. Where does it stop? There should be some healthy balance.
That's when, you know, robots come into play and technology just keeps on going. It's going to be a mad future. It's going to be a mad future. So like, all right, you don't need to go to rehab.
Not me, boy.
We kind of mentioned the sort of stuff that we've done.
Yeah, 100%.
Just to wrap up the podcast, how are you going to summarize that? If someone's got an addiction right now, then it's constantly on their phone, constantly on their laptop. I know my laptop is Bae. I love her so much. No, Bae. Okay. And Bae. Like, we have such a connection.
How long have you guys?
We've been together about 5 years, man. Yeah, man. It's been good. It's been good. Split up from my last ex, my old MacBook. But yeah, don't want to talk about that one. No. But you know, I had to discipline myself in some sort of way. So looking back on your life, if you're going to summarize to someone, what can they do to kind of take away the addiction from technology?
I guess initially potentially see how severe, if anything, it is. How addicted are you really? So put your phone down away in your pocket somewhere and just honestly, naturally see how long you can physically go without even touching it.
All right.
Whether that's 7 minutes, a couple hours, and then from there, make a kind of objective judgment. If it's a minute, then if in your head that's a serious problem, maybe consider, again, just turning it off every couple of hours. Something like starting with turning it off.
Fam, you can't go from I can't touch my phone in a minute to then turning it off for a couple of hours. That's extreme.
No, it's not.
You're going to have these people shaking.
Away
that's what you're saying to them.
Couple hours.
Okay.
What, turn it off in your pocket.
All right. Cool. Keep going. Yeah.
Just pulling it away, seeing how long you can go without touching it, using it. Again, turning it off or just not using it probably about an hour or so before bed. Again, waking up, giving yourself an hour or so to just do you. Read audiobooks. There's lots of things you can do before actually touching it. This sounds like mad deep for like phones or like technology. But again, it is what it is. I think that's definitely like a good starting point.
Yeah.
A good starting point. What about yourself? What are you thinking? Suggestions?
Utilize the apps that are available. Yeah. For sure. Like those have been major game changers for me. Like I said, if you've got an iPhone, you can set your screen time And you consciously have to think, okay, I'm gonna go into this app. It's asking me for a passcode. Oh, I'm gonna really do this. Sometimes it puts you off. It's like it's not even worth it. You have to manage other people's expectations, and you have to make it clear to people that you're not always going to be responsive. And you have to say, look, I'm trying to do me, innit? I'm trying to focus on me. I'm trying to do my tasks, and I'm trying not to get distracted. Knowing the sort of person I am, I know that I had to limit my distractions, because I can sit on YouTube for hours easily.
Very easily.
Easily. I could be on Instagram, but I know what time I'm wasting. So I'm like, all right, maybe not. And that's the part that kind of plays on me. It's that guilt. It's like, oh, I shouldn't be on this. Listen to that guilt. Yeah. When that guilt's saying I shouldn't be on this, turn it off. You shouldn't. You should be going to bed. It's 10:59 and you're like, I should really go to bed now. One eye slowly closing, but the phone's just right there and you're still scrolling. Go to bed. Go to bed. Discipline is key. It's not going to be an easy thing to do. It's a progressive thing. But eventually you're going to get yourself into a disciplined space where you're going to be using your phone at a certain amount of time, at a certain time, and notification. Let me go back to notification. If you can, turn it off. Turn off that notification, because that is the biggest distraction. You don't need it. You don't need it. I had a conversation with someone. I'm gonna end on this last bit. I had a conversation with someone, and this guy is like a big boy, like director, and he says on the weekends he doesn't pick up his phone. Anytime after work, he doesn't pick up his phone. Yeah, but work has expectations of, I'm gonna pick up the phone and it's 7:00 and John's not coming in or something crazy. He turned around to like someone the other day. He was like, "Am I the president?" And he was like, "No, you're not the president. Did you manage to sort it out?" And the guy was like, "Yeah. So you don't need to call me. It's not an emergency." And I think that's another thing you have to get in your head. Like, you can set your phone in such a way where, I'm only talking about phones, but there's other elements of technology. But if you're worried that you're not going to be able, or people are not going to be able to contact you, you can set your favorites. So those people who need to contact you will be able to get through. Yeah. And, you have to evaluate. You have to kind of realize, is it having an impact on your life? Are you distracting yourself so much that you're not really focusing on your goals, on your target? If the answer is yes, you need to think of a plan. So yeah, that's my piece. I'm going to put the phone down right now. Do you know what? I feel bad because people listen to the podcast on technology right now. I'm hoping they're addicted to us though. Like there's wanting a bit more episodes.
Get that fixed.
Yeah? Oh, we've got to fix that. We need to get itch in it. Yeah? A podcast review. So people. If you could, we got an itch that we need to fix right now. If you could leave a Apple Podcast review, we would appreciate that. Don't worry, we won't tell the police where it came from. Don't worry, you guys are safe. But once again, thanks for listening. And you can check us out on the YouTube, on Instagram, on the Twitter.
That is correct.
And you know where to find us, info@tagmein.co.uk if you've got any suggestions. But that's it for us, and we'll check you out another time.